NCRP Productions proudly presents Torg Eternity from Ulisses Spiele. Pan-Pacifica, Day 1, Episode 1.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Greg, and I want to welcome you to a Sunday of Possibilities. We are playing Torg, the other role-playing game. I'm your DM, your game master for this adventure, and I want to turn it over to our players and have them introduce themselves.
Hello everybody, this is Josh. I will be playing Juro Fukozawa.
I am Shan, and I'll be playing Kiku Oonishi.
Hi, this is Barry. I am running Sun Hyong.
Hello, this is Victoria. I'm playing Ayaka Kuroda.
Hello everybody, this is David, and I am playing Ko. My street name, my real name, you would not appreciate, so I will just stay with Ko.
All right, thank you, everybody. So now for our listeners and for our players here, Torg is a new game to NCRP Productions and the podcast. So I'd like to introduce us all to this world. So energy and matter are the basic components of existence, yet they have been guided themselves by something even more primal, possibility energy. Possibility energy is the guiding force that directed the existence of all that is now and all that will be. It is the most potent and powerful force in the Cosmverse. The power to harness possibility energy has been discovered, and those who have learned to do so have become incredibly powerful beings within their Cosm's reality, and rule that reality with absolute authority. They are known as the High Lords, and they scour the Cosmverse and beyond looking for new realities to raid the possibility energy that is present there. For the High Lord that can consume the most possibility energy will ascend to be the Torg. The forerunner of the group of High Lords, and currently the most powerful, is the Gaunt Man, the leader of Orosh. Now, within Core Earth, where we are now, in that timeline, sometime during the 1960s in the state of New Mexico, there was an attempted reality invasion. That particular High Lord discovered that Earth contained too much possibility energy, and Earth's reality fought back, and it threatened to consume the reality of the invading High Lord. Unbeknownst though, simultaneously the Gaunt Man happened to invade and defeat that invading reality. And the Gaunt Man caught a glimpse into the most possibility energy rich reality he has ever seen. There happened to be a small contingent of FBI agents in a nearby field office, and they were able to destroy a stele. That is a device used to anchor a bridge into a new reality, and they closed the bridge leading to Earth. Since that day, they formed what's known as the Delphi Council, the most secret of government entities known in history as simply the Men in Black, and they have been preparing diligently for the day when, not if, Earth is invaded again. So welcome to Torg, everyone. Where we will be playing today, and what we are playing, is day 1 of the invasion. So there are a bit of a history, 7 realities that invaded Earth all at the same time. The reason why these 7 realities conducted this simultaneous invasion is because Earth's possibility is just too much. It's too strong. Never in the Cosmverse has there been such a rich environment of possibility energy. And the Gaunt Man, when he had that glimpse into it, knew that he couldn't handle it in his reality himself. His reality would be destroyed by Earth's reality. So he formed an alliance with 6 other High Lords, and together they decided to invade Earth and break up different parts of the planet and inhabit that part with their reality. And so what we are playing here is the day 1 invasion. So when we start, nobody knows that Earth has been invaded yet. Where we're playing today is Pan-Pacifica. So Pan-Pacifica is the ring of fire in southeast coastal Asia. This particular Cosm is very sinister, and it is very deadly. And so what you as the players are going to strive to do is survive the day 1 invasion and hopefully move on to be able to be Storm Knights the people who have enough reality-based energy within themselves to resist succumbing to the reality that's invading and help fight to save Earth and repel the invaders.
Greg, do you want to go over the other Cosms that tried to come in as well? I know we're dealing with Pan-Pacifica, one of them, but you want to go over just real quick, the other Cosms that the Gaunt Man came in with?
Sure.
Oh, before you do that, real quick, I just want to ask, did all the invasions happen at the same time?
Simultaneous.
Okay, all across the globe. Okay, gotcha.
So
okay.
all at one point, it was a coordinated attack from 7 High Lords that all invaded Earth. So with Pan-Pacifica, the Delphi Council has been able to identify 6 invading Cosms. They know, or they believe, that there was a 7th invasion somewhere in Asia, but they don't know who, and they don't know what it is, but they believe that there is a High Lord that's invaded there, and that's where we're playing at here. Now, Orosh, I mentioned before, is a reality based in Victorian Gothic horror. And so when you think of Orosh, think of things like Jack the Ripper, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Bram Stoker's Dracula, that type of dress, that type of, dark, macabre atmosphere, that horror reality. That's the Gaunt Man. The cyber papacy, the cyber pope Jean Malraux, he believes that the flesh is full of sin because it can be corrupted, whereas metal is pure because it's incorruptible. It cannot be tainted by the devil. And so his reality is one set into a futuristic world where there's an extremely high technology that's far beyond what we've seen in core Earth so far. And so he also happens to be extremely religious and on the lookout for heretics. So in game terms, think of a world like cyberpunk, but yet mixed with 13th century French Inquisition. And so absolutely horrifying. The reality of Tharkhold is a very, very cool one. So Tharkhold is cyber demons, techno demons. And they decided that they were going to invade in Russia. So the Russians, however, were able to see this invasion coming, and they reacted violently by nuking the bridge. And so during that nuke attack in Tharkhold, that realm is ruled by 7 demon lords. One of those demon lords were on their way down and got murked in this nuke attack. So the remaining 6 demon lords conferred and decided to offer Russian leader the 7th spot on that ruling council, which he graciously accepted. And so that's been what's going on over there.
For these day one adventures, you and I, Greg, were in that adventure and have played that one.
That's
pretty violent.
And it was grim.
Yep.
So is the general populace aware of these different realities that are would the guy on the street, would the average character know what's going on in Russia and what's going on?
No, we're just day one, right?
This is day one. So what's really interesting about these realities is when it hits, there is a violent collision of the reality as Earth fights back. But just like a disease, your body can't fight or has a difficult time fighting 5-6 different things that are attacking it. And so 7 realities attacking Earth all at the same time stretch Earth's defenses. And so that's how these realities were able to actually come down and not be repelled by Earth's reality. And so what happens to the people once they get locked into that reality, they don't know no different, and the reality actually transforms physical things, technology, ideology into the reality that's invading. And so those who actually have enough reality base in their skill to resist succumbing to the reality and decide to fight are actually Storm Knights. And so as player characters, that's what you'll eventually be.
So you got 3 more realms to cover, and to Josh's question, I think cover the Living Lands next, because that's the one that's the easiest one to explain how reality changes.
So the Living Lands is a reality that is ruled by Baruch Ka, and he is basically a lizard man lord. And so the Living Lands dropped in New York and is in the on the eastern seaboard during day one. And that is a reality where technology is nearly non-existent. It is basically Stone Age technology. So it's Jurassic Park, it's Land of the Lost, it's heavy jungle, and it's dinosaurs and Idinos, the populace of lizard men that are the main populace of the Living Lands. And so in New York, it actually, think of, what was it, I Am Legend, when you see the overgrowth of the city there. That's what happened in New York. And so life just bloomed. And so Lunala, the goddess of life, is like the primal force in the Living Lands. Then there's Isle, the Isle Empire, and that happened to be dropped down over in Britain, Scotland, Ireland area. That's your typical fantasy realm. We all know fantasy, but what's cool about Isle is there is like a light side and a dark side of that fantasy realm. And so the light is your high fantasy, whereas the dark is the low, gritty fantasy. So there's two different play styles in there too, as those two, the light and dark, fight for dominance over an Isle. Then there is the Nile Empire. Now, the Nile is a very different Cosm. It is placed in, like, say, 1930s Middle East, very pulp fiction, where weird science rules. And so, like, ray guns and laser guns and rocket-propelled
Flash
jetpacks.
Gordon, Buck Rogers, The Shadow.
But on top of that, there's also superpowers. So you have people over there that have developed superpowers in this reality. And again, it is that pulp fiction of superpower. So like the Shadow, the Phantom, basically 1930s radio superheroes being read out to people in the Great Depression. Visually, the way that I see the Nile Empire is Indiana Jones. And again, that one, perhaps out of all the Cosms, is meant to be high action, high heroics. So again, you know, think of Indy and all the crazy stuff that he did. And that's a great example of the Nile Empire. And so we covered Pan-Pacifica, and I think that's all of the Cosms.
Then obviously Core Earth, right? I guess
And then
it's
there's
not a
Core
Cosm,
Earth.
yeah. So since this is day one, just so I understand as a player character, we're not aware of all these other things. We're basically only dealing with what's in our reality here, or our Cosm in Pan-Pacifica. We don't know about the Delphi Council, correct?
Correct. The Delphi Council, again, is the most secretive government entities, and the council itself has let the rumor of the alien landing in Roswell just run with it, and it's something that they perpetuate to be able to actually cover up the true meaning of what it is. Now, for Torg purists out there that happen to be listening, that's not part of the book. It's part of my Torg world, but to me, it made sense. And it's something that we can all relate to and have, you know, familiarity with. So yeah, the Delphi Council lets people just run with the alien invasion, but in reality, it was an invasion, but it was from an invasion of a High Lord that didn't know what they were coming into. And then again, simultaneously, that High Lord was attacked by the Gauntman. Gauntman consumed all the possibility of that world, and that world then became basically another reality of Ororsh. And during that time, while the Stele was still operational, saw a glimpse into Earth's rich possibility energy and said, holy shit, I want that. But he also knew he couldn't himself just invade, otherwise Core Earth's reality would destroy his. So that's the world that we're playing in. Just so everyone knows, you had a chance to be able to review your character sheets. Just kind of give a brief description of who you are playing and what we see, please. Josh, would you mind starting?
Sure. So, my name is Juro Fukozawa, and I am a middle-aged, cynical, and a bit flabby, slightly lazy security guard. I've, in high school, I was actually black belt in judo and won a championship, but I haven't really needed to use those skills very often since. My security guard job is rather uneventful most of the time. In fact, I don't even get a gun. They just, or a baton or anything. I mean, really, I get a taser and a flashlight. So that goes to show you how exciting that job is. Most of the time, the highlight of my day each day tends to be when I head out from work and catch a hot bowl of spicy noodle soup on the way home.
Shan?
I'm Kiku Oonishi. I make a meager living writing science fiction and fantasy stories. I'm not very famous, but I do get published. I just spent the day at the Meiji Shrine deciding whether or not I wanted to give up writing for a more boring job at a corporate business, but a better paying job. I meant to go over to Harajuku restaurant to treat myself to dinner out, but wound up getting some vending machine ramen, which was pretty good anyway.
So I am running Soon. 10 years ago, he immigrated from North Korea, and he runs a small day stall in the Harajuku, maybe?
The Harajuku.
There we go, the Harajuku. I closed up for the night and needed to get some dinner and make a drop at the bank, and guess which one I did first?
Yeah.
Dinner!
Should be carrying around all that money.
Yeah. It's actually down, just so you know. It's on the character, for those of you who want to rob me. I have $6,000, roughly 65,000 yen,
Oh, nice.
in an envelope in my pocket.
That's a little more than I got.
I am Ayaka. I'm not very popular at my high school. A lot of people think I'm creepy, and I'm not the greatest student. I don't get very good grades. For the last few months, I've been having really bad nightmares, and the only thing I can remember from those nightmares is a particular noodle machine in a shop alley that I've been searching for since I've been having these nightmares. And I have just walked into that noodle machine, or found it as I am here.
Wait, so you are looking for a noodle machine, and Kiku just had noodles from a noodle machine?
Vending machine ramen is great.
That is correct.
Yep.
And what about Juro? You said you got
I'm on the way to get some noodles right now. Yeah.
at the noodle machine place.
At the noodle vending machine.
So, Big Brother Ko, he is the leader of the Three-Eyed Tetsubo gang. It's a small street gang that assumes more street cred than they actually have. I'm kind of the big brother, to the rest of these gang members. I ran away from home at an early age, dropped out of school at 17, and my innate authority issues, and my need to rebel, I ran away from home and ran away from a very structured family because they wanted to trap me into becoming a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer, which is, the only means of success in my parents' eyes. So I live the streets. I've been on the streets for 9 years. Got my friends, which are my family. And you know what? I'm going to stop this interview to go say hi to that pretty girl over there at the ramen machine.
Okay. So while you all are out at the Harajuku, so the Harajuku, it's a huge shopping square that's in the middle of downtown Tokyo. And it's not a red light district. It's a full-blown, like metropolitan shopping area.
That's good to identify that it is not a red light district.
It is not a red light district. It is actually the Japanese police, and incidentally, Japan has the lowest crime rate in the entire world. And so the Japanese police have done a very good job with policing this area and keeping it very family friendly, very tourist friendly, and kind of the mecca of Japanese shopping and Japanese fashion. And so,
What year is it? Just to try and bring it into perspective for the world.
current.
So it's like 2022.
Today.
2022. It's
All
today.
right, cool. All right.
Right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, it is right freaking now.
Now, the Japanese police, are they like, do they carry guns or are they like bobbies,
Oh no, they definitely carry.
Okay, they got guns.
They
Okay.
carry firearms.
This isn't Britain.
All right, just making sure, is there a thing?
Or New Zealand. They don't
Is there
carry
police
firearms either.
brutality in Japan or no? It's like Germany where, they'll just shoot you?
No, Japan actually has the lowest crime rate in the world. That's like a legit fact.
All right, I wonder if that's from like fear of consequence,
I think that's good upbringing, and I'm not being funny. I think it comes from the fact that, when I was there, it was amazing to watch kids that were on the subway and on the trams at like 9 o'clock, not kidding you, 9 o'clock at night coming home from school. Kids don't have time to get in trouble. They're doing their sports, they're trying to go on into, and I forget there's different terminology, but they're trying to go past what we call high school and into college. So there's not a lot of time to screw around. I'm not saying there's not gangs or anything there, but it's way less than it is here.
Three-eyed Tetsubo.
Well, for here, obviously there's crime. There's going to be crime everywhere, but like for here in the United States, we are a individual rights-based society, whereas over in Japan, they're actually a public order-based society, and so public order is actually a higher priority than the individual.
They can actually feel shame.
Yes.
We don't.
And then, with what's real interesting over there too is they have a national police force, and then their Koban, which is police officers that actually live in different small communities, and their home is actually officed and outfitted to be a working police station. So there's continually within each community a police officer and a police station to be able to come and report crime. So yeah, it's a very foreign than what we're used to here, but it's also one of the things that criminologists look at to try to figure out why it has the lowest crime rate. Now, oddly, like Saudi Arabia also has one of the lowest crime rates, but that's because of things that we consider crime. Not really crime over there. I mean, you can do horrible things to women, like stone them to death, and that's okay.
But you get your hand cut off for stealing a loaf of bread.
Yeah, and then those are the crimes that actually may get reported.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, so
Or in Japan.
The Harajuku is like the major shopping mecca. It's also one of the biggest features in Tokyo. And there is kind of like a Central Park area where they actually have really a nice area that's all parked off. It's well manicured, well groomed. Paths are well laid out. Very little crime in there. There is some drug use is becoming more rampant and evident in Japan, and that's one of the things that your gang is actually doing is working with street level sales.
So it's your fault.
It's our blood, man. All right.
Within the park there is the Meiji Temple, and so that is a temple set up to be able to honor the past emperors and the past lords in Japan's history. And so it's the biggest temple in Tokyo, and there's throughout the year just thousands of people will go and visit it as part of either a religious pilgrimage or as something for their daily spiritual routine for the local populace. So it's like a weird mix of both local and tourists that happen to go to Meiji.
Kind of, it's the largest one. I've been there.
Really?
And it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's like miles. It feels like miles across. It's probably hundreds of feet across, but I mean, it's huge, and there's tons of people there. It's the one I'm thinking.
So all of you guys have found yourself toward the end of the day in the Harajuku. So businesses are starting to close down. Nightclubs are starting to open. Karaoke bars, which are huge over there, are starting to open. So is there anything that your characters find yourselves doing as you're getting hungry and working your way towards a nice little meal?
Well, like I said, I've got the money, but I'm hungrier than making the deposit, so I'm going to head first over and get some noodles.
Sounds good. So one of the places where you find yourself is this little alley that's kind of off of the main square within the shopping area, but it's not like a typical alleyway. It actually breaks open into a bit of a courtyard, and so there is a vending machine for ramen noodles over there. And what's interesting is those things actually do a lot of business. It's an individual company that puts those up, but people just hit that thing all the time. So they're wildly popular considering all the amazing food that's over there, especially with locals, it seems like. And around it is a small little courtyard that's pretty well sheltered from the main street and the main square in the Harajuku. And there is a line, of course, as you're getting ready to make up. But people in Japan are polite and kind of used to this.
And they stand in lines. Trust me.
And, yeah,
they stand in lines.
And very patiently wait. Anything else anybody doing?
I am realizing that this machine that I just found is the one that I keep seeing in my nightmares, so I'm just kind of standing there staring at it like, oh, finally found it after months and months and months.
So Ayaka, definitely. This has been a recurring nightmare for the past several months now that you've had. Not nightly, but enough to where it has motivated you to actually seek this out and try to figure out what the hell it is that's bothering you. And now that you actually saw it, it's really kind of weird and creepy.
Yeah,
Wow.
to me, I'm imagining myself for the last months going to every machine I can find to see if it's similar, because it's such a reality based, like in my head this is somewhere I'm trying to find, and I'm now standing there and it's like, well, this is actually real.
Exactly like your visions. It's just tucked into a little nook within the little courtyard that I described earlier. There's about 15 tables set up for people to sit down and eat. Most people are kind of going in and out, but when it's open, there are a few shops within this little courtyard. The tables are usually full, but everything there, including the shops, the tables, exactly how you saw in your nightmares.
Now, are these hentai nightmares? Is this
We're talking
noodle
Cenobite
porn?
level, like Hellraiser type ramen machine.
The noodles
that
come
opens
out and tear
right
your
now. All
clothes
of a
off.
sudden, right? Yeah. You know, what are we talking about here?
No, nothing that outrageous. It's a ramen, it's just a ramen vending machine, but you can't recall exactly why it is a nightmare. It's just that it's the focus of your past dreams.
You've had a lot of bad ramen.
It's like a deja vu sense of
Is
like I've
is
been
it
here
bad
before.
feelings? I mean, the bad feelings come from the machine, or the machine is the focus, and you feel bad, or you feel scared, or
No, it's the nightmares that you have. There's dread accompanied in them, and when you see the vending machine, you have that feeling of dread, but you can't articulate what causes it or why it's dreadful or what it's associated with. You can't remember the nightmares, but you just remember that damn vending machine.
Premonition of bad things.
A
about
premonition of bad.
My recurring nightmare is how long this damn line is every night. I mean, I know I just stand in it, but I had to skip my lunch break today because my backup didn't show and I'm starving.
Came off a double shift, right?
Guys are sitting here just taking their time.
And what seems really weird is there's this old man at the front who seems to be making a very grandiose show of arms folded, hand on his chin, muttering to himself, trying to decide what to buy.
He's the guy at Panda Express who wants to try everything first before he actually places his order.
But there's nobody to ask because it's a vending machine.
The vending machine.
Ito, you pick the same thing every night. Please, just push a button.
Angrily mutters something to you. Doesn't even look back.
Now I've been hanging out. This is kind of my, I guess maybe one of the areas where me and my boys we work this area a little bit. People kind of going from place to place. We're hitting them up. We're pushing some type of drug on the street. Is that correct?
Yeah, so, I mean, heroin and meth are actually huge, starting to be huge influxes over in Japan right now. So, no, you're full-blown selling drugs.
Okay, if we're selling drugs, we're hanging up. But my crew has wandered off to a construction site near the temple to see if they could find anything, that they might be able to, lift or find something of value. But I've decided to stay behind because I've spotted this chick who maybe is in line at the vending machine. What does this girl look like?
So there's two right now that are standing in line amongst them waiting for food. And so I think both of you described your characters.
So Ko, he's fit. He's only 26, but he's very physically fit. He wears the tight, think of like, Karate Kid Part 2, Chosen, the guy with the tight, nice clothes, tucked in belt, That's kind of him, what I envision. And, I'm going to wander over. I'm going to wait for one of the girls to be at the machine before I approach and try and offer my assistance.
As you're walking up, you catch like this side conversation and a portable radio of really unsettling reports coming out of Russia of some sort of terrorist attack, and Russia's actually fought back, and that there's rumors that there was a nuclear detonation over there. And so as that kind of starts spreading out amongst the group, you can hear more and more chatter as reports are shaky, but they're coming in.
So is it a news report, or is it kind of like coming to you live now, the report on the nuclear explosion in Russia, or is it kind of like a talk show, like, oh, I hear the Russians have made nuclear advances against their
No, what it sounds like is the Japanese equivalent of the American emergency broadcast system cutting through all media to report it.
Oi, turn that up.
So, hi, so this.
I go over and I listen to the radio.
And again, it's just right now just seems to be a repeat, and it's the same thing. And right now, we do have unconfirmed reports of some type of attack, possibly a terrorist attack going on over in Russia, perhaps an invasion from a different country. There's sentiment that the Americans have actually launched a nuke, and then we're getting reports that the Russians themselves have retaliated by launching a nuke for the invading forces. We apologize that we aren't able to get accurate information at this point, but we are reporting it as soon as we come in. We're unaware of how this is going to affect the citizens in our country, and kind of trails off as more and more people start hearing, and conversation starts kind of overriding it.
Does Juro work as a security guard in a specific area?
I'm sure it's somewhere close by. We're contract agency, and we loan out to different areas as the street crime.
Do you envision that he
increases
works in
and
the Harajuku?
He does work in the
He does.
Harajuku.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I probably know him. So I'll lean up to Jiro and say, Jiro, do you know anything about this? I mean,
Oh
being
no,
in
I don't
security,
know,
you
but
would,
I'm just glad we're not in Russia, huh?
yeah, but your guys didn't say anything. Your friends in the department.
Oh, what department? My friends don't know nothing.
So about this time, you hear another report coming in, this time in India, and the report is that all communications out of India has gone dark. So speculation is a coordinated attack, but from unknown areas and unknown people. What exactly is happening on over there? And so the people on the radio are kind of, speculating back and forth, but right now India has gone dark.
Is the Ramen line starting to disperse? Or is it still
Ito,
kind of moving
seriously,
at a snail's
choose
pace?
something.
Kind of gives you an obnoxious gesture. So about this time, you hear just this amazing boom, just this clap of thunder, and just a massive earthquake hits. Everybody make a dexterity roll.
And what does that look like in Torg? How do we make a roll?
Okay, so in Torg, it's a D20. On the bottom of your sheet, there should be a bonus chart. So what you roll on the very last row is a corresponding number. So if you roll high enough, you will get a plus that you add to the roll. If you roll
to the tribute. Okay.
Correct. If you roll low, it actually subtracts from it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so, for example, if you roll an 18, you look down at the last row, below 18 is 5. You add 5 bonus points basically to the dex.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, we're just rolling the d20.
So rolling a d20, this is a difficult roll. So you're looking for a difficulty number of 15.
Nice. So how would we roll over a 20 on a d20?
Yeah, there's like 45.
So in Torg, one of the cool things that they've done is to encourage heroic rolls. If you roll a 10 or if you roll a 20, you actually get to re-roll or roll another d20 and add that number. Nice. If you continually roll 10s and 20s, then you continually add to your success. So it's possible that you can actually get at a difficulty number of 40. And so this is, Indiana Jones running through, beating the boulder that's chasing him out of the temple. So rolling that heroic, massive roll to be able to leap through the entrance and escape certain death from the trap.
I'm thinking not today, however.
The other thing, too, is people stormers, basically the evil minions of the High Lords who can maintain their own reality, they can spend possibility points to be able to add on additional roll, and Storm Knights as well can spend possibility points to be able to
we don't have anything like that.
We are not Storm Knights yet.
Not yet.
We're like 0 level characters, basically. Right.
Okay.
Except for me, have a gang.
So, what did you roll, Josh?
I rolled an 18, which is 5, plus my dexterity of 8.
Okay, so what you get
So
total?
I think I got a 12.
So total
Or 13.
Okay, total
Right?
13.
Yeah, I think you're at that right.
Who made a difficulty number of 15? Let me ask that. So all of a sudden you can just feel the violent impact of an
And
earthquake.
it's less earthquake, more impact. It's that sudden shudder. Because we've all been in earthquakes. We live in Japan.
Yeah, it's like the 9.0 earthquake that everyone fears is going to sink Japan.
This is the big one.
This is the big one. And
The
so,
earthquake is going to be the tsunami.
so again, it's like you heard that big clap of thunder, then all of a sudden that hard, violent jolt as the earth just shakes. Anyone who did not make a difficulty of 15 is immediately thrown to the ground.
What about if you crit failed?
What's that?
What about if you crit failed?
So, what's your character's name again?
You can fumble.
Kiku.
So, Kiku, you crit failed. When you land and donked yourself on one of the tables. And so, full blown took a headshot to it. And so, at this point, any type of roll, you're going to be stymied, which is going to be a minus to your rolls, to any future rolls.
How do you end up with a stymied on the right-hand side of the character? There's 2 positions. There's a -2 and a -4. How do you move to -4? Get stymied again?
So very stymied.
Okay.
And so one of the things in Torg, you have your standard success, you have a good success, and you have an outstanding success. And along those lines, you also have failures, and then an amazing failure,
Which is a one,
which is a
roll.
crit fail. So yeah. So at this point, basically, Kiku, you're just all woozy and
Seeing the little birdies.
seeing
spin
little
around
birds,
the-
and like the edge of your vision kind of started going back and sinking in, and then just kind of snap back and to refocus, and you're trying to recover from that.
As soon as I can, if I saw that, I would move over to check on her, because that looked like that hurt.
Well, like, is the earthquake still going, or are there tremors, or was it like a boom and it just was like a quick one-time
So-
go off our feet?
It was the thunder, and then there was that boom, that violent earthquake. And good question, because living in Japan, you're waiting for the aftershocks or the following up. There is none. At this point, I want everyone to reach over and take a Cosm card.
Do we look at it?
Yes.
Well, thanks, Greg. You don't look so good. Play immediately when drawn. Your Storm Knight shows symptoms. Why didn't Kiku get this? Your Storm Knight shows symptoms of possible infection. You do not roll again on 10s until the end of the act, so only on 20s.
Patient
If
zero.
your hero perished, I did not. So, gain 3 possibilities, however.
So for you, what's your character's name again?
Me?
Yeah,
I'm
Soon.
Soon.
So Soon, as you're kind of, shaking off and looking around, you are starting to look pale, and your eyes are bloodshot.
Okay.
I got something for that.
Little vertigo.
little vertigo.
way more than I expected.
At this point, Core's Earth reality is no longer effective where you're at.
Do we know that? We have no idea. There's just an earthquake. That's all we know is an earthquake.
So all you know that there's an earthquake.
I looked to the sky. Was it a nuclear explosion?
The sky looks. There's a bit of a drizzle, and go ahead and roll a perception since you're looking.
I'm rolling
The
the
question
D20.
is there suddenly a bright light?
No bright light.
I want to know if I need to repent of my sins real quick. Let's see here.
So do you have anything on your any skills on your character sheet that will allow you to
Notice?
notice?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't have anything like that. So, am I just going off of one of my core attributes?
Yes.
Would it be like spirit or mind or?
Spirit of mine.
Either one. Roll your highest one.
Okay, I'll roll that. Okay, come on. Ooh. Okay, got a 1. All right.
So
Crit failure.
Crit failure on my notice.
This
I
is
definitely
like
see
the sky. I
something.
think you got us some cursed dice.
I definitely see something.
no, I mean nothing out of the ordinary except that it just kind of started to rain.
Now it's raining. There was thunder. There was the ground shook, and now it's raining. Are people panicking, or is there still a line at the ramen?
No, there's still.
Well, there's not a line, really.
There was a line.
There's not really a line.
Was there any like structural damage, anything nearby, like anything about to fall? Like, I imagine I'm still kind of on the ground, just looking around, making sure nothing's.
Is that radio going? Is that radio broadcast still going?
No, so good question. To answer your question, no. I mean, you would think that an earthquake of this magnitude would have had tremendous structural damage.
Yeah.
Everything seems to look fine.
Oh, that's freaky. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of scramble up and pull my.
About how long did the quake last? Was it just a few seconds?
Not even a few seconds.
So it was a solid bam.
It was a solid bam, felt the shake, maybe about 1 second. And again, you all live in this area where there's just earthquakes all the time. It was not a standard earthquake.
That wasn't an earthquake.
No.
We're under attack.
And we've just heard about the nuclear attacks.
Yeah, we're under attack.
But again, I mean, there's the ambient noise. People still kind of figuring out, asking what's going on, and are you okay? That type of thing. So it's that's what's going on, and then
So
off in the distance you hear gunfire.
the
Going back down.
My ears are still ringing from hitting the table, so I'm covering my ears and just like laying on the floor knocking.
Yeah, the change for me is not feeling well. I'm still going to go to the young lady who hit her head, but I'm also going to the table so I can steady myself at it as well.
Okay.
If I hear the gunfire, I'll not jump on her, but put my body over her.
Yeah. So you kind of as you're over under the table, somebody comes over and just kind of helps shield you with their body as gunfire still continues in the background.
How far away?
Some sort of crash occurs down over in the square.
Is there an air raid warning? Well, I heard that. All right, where's the guy with the radio? Where's the guy with the radio?
So at this point, people are in the same area, like the same state of confusion that you guys are. They're starting looking around, asking questions. Some people are taking cover. Others are kind of wandering out onto the street.
I'm gonna try and grab the radio from the guy.
So you to reach over and grab the radio. No, it doesn't stop you.
Cool. I grab the radio And do I have like a hideout, like where my gang hangs out? Do we have like a, you know, or a clubhouse or some, you know, we got a, you know, a
Flop house.
flop house?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay. I'm gonna say to the strange girl that was at the Ron mission, come with me if you want to live. Whoever it is.
So Ayaka, so like, you know, this guy is he wants to appear well dressed, but you can see it's knockoff clothes,
Hey.
so leans over to you and just kind of, you know, and tells you that.
As a high school girl with a phone, I'm going to pull out my phone and be like, hang on a second, let me figure out, I want to look what's going on, and start looking to see if there's
And I'm trying to tune the radio in to try and get report of what's going on.
So when you're starting to tune the radio, right now you're just getting static. On your phone is working, but there's some sort of service interruption.
No service.
Someone screams. At this point, you get like this, Ayaka, you get this sharp mental pain, just like, you know, just almost like a stabbing pain into your mind as you just instinctively close your eyes. You get a dark vision of teeth biting into somebody's neck.
I'll try focusing on that image a little bit more.
Boom, just like that, it's gone again.
Hey, you okay? We gotta get out of
Some
here.
sort of explosion.
I've got friends nearby the shrine. We should go find them.
Glass breaks from one of the windows, and then all of a sudden you see this human form jump out, and the old guy that was standing up against holding up the ramen machine land on him as he goes down, and you hear just this
Time to go.
as the whatever jumped on the old guy just reaches in and just bites him right in the throat.
What was this thing that jumped on him? Is it another person, or is it some kind of creature, or what does it look like?
It looks to be a person, but what's weird is this person looks to have some type of fatal injuries themselves.
Oh, it's like something out of World War Z or something like that.
And it's still daytime, but it's like late in the day.
It's now good observation. So it was starting to get dusk, but yet after the earthquake, it seemed to have gotten darker.
I'm gonna reach down to the girl
my
and
flashlight.
try and come on. We gotta go.
Okay, so you're reaching down and say, come on, go.
Come on.
Ayaka, what is your character doing?
I am pretty scared because that's exactly what I just saw in
It's
my
exactly what you just
in
saw.
my image. So I'm like, let's go.
Okay, soon.
I'm going to try and help the young lady who's laying in front of me, Kiku, and say, get up. And I'm going to holler at Juro. Juro, get out your gun. Take that thing out.
Pull out my taser, and I have my flashlight in one hand. I have my flashlight in one hand, like take it on.
Daytime.
You there, stop!
Yeah, like, you know, I just want to. I didn't see it happen. I was too busy looking at the, you know, crashing and explosives and the ground while I was covering my head with the gunfire. So now that this thing is jumped on top of the guy in the front of the line, I want to like point my flashlight, click it on, and see what we see.
So
Is it that dark?
It's daytime. I thought.
no.
dark.
So it
Oh, it's getting dark.
was starting to get
Okay.
dusk as everything started closing down.
Oh,
But
okay.
then when after the earthquake hit, it just things seemed to get darker. So
Power go out.
power's
Yeah.
on.
Oh, okay.
No, power's on.
Okay.
And so lights from the shop are still
Okay.
still going.
I
Street
pictured
lamps
they
are still
went out,
going.
yeah.
You know the
We hear
the
screams
floor-
of gunfire
So
in the distance.
electricity's working, just things that are transmitting information.
Exact right.
So there's still plenty of light here.
More gunfire, and at this point now you can hear more and more screams and more chaos coming from the main square.
We're under attack.
What do you guys do?
I'm
Well,
trying
Well,
to
what's
stand
Juro
above the
doing?
ground.
I just told him shoot that thing.
So Juro pulls out his
I'm just
taser,
kind of shakily holding my taser and pointing my.
and you
Shoot
see
him!
and you see the shaky flashlight beam
Right.
just shining on whatever is jumped on the old man.
Is it chewing Ito up?
And so so what you guys see? Who looks first of all?
I do.
I do.
Okay, so when you look over, what you see is you see somebody who should be dead. And so you can see blood soaked on their abdomen and some sort of gnarly wound coming out from the side. You can see that it was somewhat an evisceration and some of the intestines are protruding out. Both legs seem to be broken, but yet the pain and the apparent fatal injury is nowhere near stopping the speed and ferocity as he's just growling and consuming and biting and tearing chunks
Sir,
off of the
sir,
old man.
I'm gonna have to ask you to stop what you're doing immediately, sir. Sir.
Young lady, get up. Move back. We'll move behind Juro. He can take care of this.
I'm crawling.
So,
Oh, God.
okay, so at this point, we are now entering into a dramatic scene. So, Juro, as you start walking over and trying to get this person to get off the old map.
I'm scared to death. I mean, I'm like, trying to be assertive, but my voice comes out a little shaky, and my taser's kind of shaking because this is a lot more action than I've seen in my day to day.
So,
and plus, he looks like he should be dead. So.
as you approach and start talking, you draw attention to it. And so it lifts up from its ghastly feast, blood freely dripping from its mouth and tongues of stringy flesh caught in the teeth as it's hanging down on its chin. The skin is pale and sweaty, and you can see the eyes are deeply bloodshot and tears of dark, almost black blood coming from the ducts.
And do we all kind of see this with the shaky flashlight? I mean, it looks like a 30s film, but...
So, yeah, so I mean, you see this, but Juro sees the full-on face as it looks up at you, hisses, and leaps.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, so I want to tase it as soon as I can, but I don't know how that works.
So, for Torg, during initiative, you don't roll for initiative. This is what's considered a dramatic scene. So there's two types of scenes. There's your standard scene, and then your dramatic scene. And so any type of thing that includes conflict or includes, a chase, something like that, where we need to determine initiative, you draw from the drama deck and then follow the prompts on the card of the drama deck. It'll also tell you which side goes first. Cool. So this is a standard scene, but then you have your dramatic scenes. And these are the ones of like high intense super drama. Now, this is dramatic, and so you can only imagine what a truly dramatic scene, is. So from here, H is for heroes and V is for villains. And on this one, it says that heroes do get to go first, and so villains will go second. And villains are fatigued, meaning that they'll have a minus.
So what's the difference in the standard and dynamic row?
So the dramatic scene so the dramatic scene is like the big end of the movie
like the
chase.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
cool. Okay, gotcha.
It's where you need to figure out how to disarm the bomb within the next 30 seconds or the entire building explodes.
This is a standard drama scene.
So this,
dramatic drama.
Now have the villains went first, then the villains would be on the left, and then the heroes would be on the right. Is that the way?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yep. So for this one, heroes go first.
And then there's also some letters on the right-hand side of the card. There's an A and a D. What do those mean?
So there's going to be certain times when you have a dramatic conclusion to be able to resolve something, a dramatic resolution. So like a chase, or if the counter's going off and you're tied to the table with the pendulum swinging down, etching lower. And so you got to figure out how to do the escape, or the pulp villain tied you to the railroad tracks and the train's coming and you need to be able to figure out how to get the person off the railroad track before the train gets there. So those scenes, you only have up to 5 initiative turns to resolve. And in order to resolve them, you have to resolve them in order. So the first one is A, and if the card that you draw does not have A on those letters, you cannot resolve that scene.
Okay, gotcha. So there's on the bottom it says trick.
Okay, so good question. Thanks, Dave. Listed at the very bottom of the card is a preferred action, and so at this point, if you do something that tricks so trick is a preferred action. If you do something that succeeds in tricking the villain, then you actually get a possibility token. So like, for example, in Fellowship of the Ring, when Sam throws a bag of mushrooms and it tricks the Nazgul to look in that way, that would have been a successful trick. For the purposes of gameplay, it needs to be something realistic to the scene. You can't just jump up going na 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 and trick them or taunt them. That's an antithesis to what Torg is, and so you get rewarded for doing something positive within that preferred action.
Gotcha. Okay. I think so we decide what order we go in, right, as heroes. Correct?
As heroes, there's no initiative die that determines order, and so the heroes go first. So you, as the players, actually get to determine who goes first.
I want to know what the hell Juro's doing.
So before we actually do this, now that we're actually getting into combat, everybody gets to draw 4 destiny cards and add them to their hands.
That's the blue ones.
The blue ones.
Can I read this out loud because it would be relevant?
Okay, and let's get the destiny cards
Okay.
out first. So with destiny cards, at the beginning of any type of new scene, you form an action pool of destiny cards. So at the beginning of each turn, you can put a destiny card from your hand into the pool. The player pool, anybody of the player characters can use it. But you can only play cards that are in the action pool, not from your hand, unless something specifically says. Kiku, since you are stymied, you do not get to play into the action pool.
Got it.
What is a reconnect? Immediately reconnect without a test.
Okay, so reconnect, and we're kind of getting to the Torg here. There is a chance that your player may disconnect from the reality that you are from and actually end up conforming to the reality that you're in.
Okay.
And so at that point, you are no longer, your own character. You've been assimilated into that reality. But as Storm Knights, you have the reality skill that allows you to reconnect to your own reality and get you back into making yourself, an autonomous character again.
So you can become the ramen monster.
So now you want us to place, if we choose, or we must place the destiny card in the pool.
You must place something into the pool. They're for the table, the group to use.
And so this is what we're playing now are possibilities. Is that what they are?
No, these aren't necessarily possibilities.
Okay.
None of you guys. So when a character goes from an ordinary character into a Storm Knight, it's what is called a moment of crisis, to where your character is actually confronted with a different reality. And so, Juro, you actually are going to end up going through a moment of crisis as this creature attacks you.
Yeah, I told him to stop what he was doing. I was hoping he would just be reasonable, and we wouldn't have
And
to.
on the cards, there is a word O-R-D or ORD that represents ordinary characters, right?
That's correct.
Where do you see that?
So
On
right
one
next
of
to
my
your
cards-
name.
Yeah, one of my
oh.
cards says that all ORDs something happens.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So Juro, at this point, when you step forward and try to help the old man, you make that determination that you're going to do something for the greater good, and you're facing a terror that's attacking it. So you can feel like an awakening within yourself. And you now know that there's
I was just here for the noodles.
the weird thing that there's something bigger than you, but you now have an awareness.
It really is fire.
It all clicked. Those trips to the ramen vending machine is all clicked now. This is your path.
Yeah.
And you gave him a new character sheet, so tell us a little bit about that.
Just stay behind me when things get rough. I'll try to protect you. Just say I'll protect you. But I will try.
Classic Juro.
So yeah, it looks like a new perk showed up.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So for the listening audience, at this point, Juro went through a moment of crisis, and the internal resolution that he had rather than this moment of crisis has actually now identified him as a Storm Knight. So his character, the beginning character sheet that he received was just an ordinary player, ordinary person.
Cool.
But now going through this moment of crisis, making the determination to help somebody and confront something, awakened the reality in him, and he is now considered a Storm Knight.
Well, all right.
You look like lightning bolts coming from your eye sockets.
No, I don't really feel any different. No, I do feel different. I feel very different.
Okay, so before we get to explanation, heroes have initiative. What do you do?
So, I mean,
So now, as our actions, we play these cards or no?
So yeah, if there's any cards that need to be played, to go ahead and play. Yes.
This says for the remainder of the scene, unarmed combat is favored skill for all player characters.
Oh, okay.
Make me bust you up.
I know you said I couldn't play a blue one, but can I play the green
You
one?
can play your Cosm card.
So this card is just like another card that we have in our hand, right? All these cards are in our hand.
It's not in your hand, so basically the Destiny cards are cards that, so again,
Like action cards.
right, so remember, possibility is like the Force, and it can dictate and lead things that can be. And so your Destiny cards that you have are like scions of that possibility, and it helps like guide the players. It helps prod them to do amazing heroic things depending on what the card says. So, and speaking of, since Juro has become a Storm Knight, he now has the ability to tap into that possibility energy.
Does Juro change form, or is it just like an internal
There's
thing?
like an aura.
Is it an internal
Super Saiyan now.
like transformation and revelation that he's experiencing right now?
So it's possible when somebody goes through their moment of crisis where they can still maintain their status as a Storm Knight, but also conform to the reality that they're in. And so, Juro, on your character sheet where it says Cosm, what does it say there?
Pan-Pacifica.
So at this point, Juro, there is something a little bit different. Juro's character has accepted the Pan-Pacifica reality, and he is now actually a part of it, but you can still make your own decisions. You can still make your own choices.
Reality has shifted.
So, Greg, from my Cosm card, I gained 3 possibilities.
But you're not a Storm Knight yet,
So
you
I
don't.
just have them sitting there.
Yeah, so you don't you don't know how, or you don't have the innate sense to tap into possibility energy.
Gotcha. Just remember I have them.
What-
Me,
yeah.
I need to just remember I have them.
Yes, and when your character does transform into a Storm Knight, remind me.
Yep,
And then
of
you get 3 starting off, and then you would get an additional 3 for your card.
Right.
Okay, so sorry for that break, everyone, but we need to kind of explain some of the mechanics.
Juro, what are you doing?
I want to tase this thing.
Fire.
Yeah.
So you should have on. So for Juro,
Mine's missile weapon.
your character would know this. A taser, there's 2 ways to use a taser. You could actually use it as a missile weapon, as a firing weapon, and so it you could throw it at the person. But
Okay. Well, yeah.
when you actually shoot the taser, 2 darts go out at a spread, and there's an electric current that goes through them that's supposed to incapacitate the muscles, the muscular system of the person. Both darts have to be able to hit flesh in order for them to work. Or you can take out the cartridge and just what's called a drive stun, and so touch the person. It's not like what you see in movies though, where you touch them and they collapse. If you drive stun somebody, they just feel the shock, but they can pull away. It's not incapacitating unless they're in a place where they can't move and pull away on their own.
So
In my experience, it just pisses people off.
would that use the melee skill instead of the missile skill?
If you're going to drive stun, yes, but if you're going to shoot, it would be fire combat.
So yeah, I'm just
Kick him.
gonna. Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought about that. I have some pretty good bonuses to unarmed, but it feels like my first response would be to try to tase him because I mean, at this point, like I'm not really sure if he's savable or not, but he's obviously devouring other people. You know, so.
There's no doubt about it. He is eating this
He's
old
not
man.
savable. I'll run up and tase him.
All right, so go ahead and roll. Let's use, because you're attempting to drive stun.
I have this Vengeance is Mine card. It says play on a reality faded foe. He may not soak wounds caused by your character for 3 rounds. Could I play that?
No, because this is basically. Well, you don't know what this is, but you would be like a Stormer would be somebody who is a reality-based foe who can use possibility energy.
Okay.
And I'm going to hit you with one more question, Greg. We threw all the Destiny cards down. When do those resolve? Mine has a reason to be played. There's an action to it.
What is yours?
Was yours rally?
Yep.
It says all players may discard as many cards as they wish from their hands. Players may then immediately refill their hands.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, those can be played at any time during this turn. So next turn you would lay out a new, but you don't
Different
have
one,
to.
or we're gonna stack them. So each turn we can lay one out.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So
You-
I'm going to play that one.
That one says we
Okay.
can play all as many cards as we want. Right?
Not play. What it says is you can discard. So I have a
Discard.
card, for example, in my hand that it's improbable this will be useful in this combat. So I'm going to toss this so I can get a new one.
I don't know that any
And then I
romances
would
will
say
be
we'd probably
kindled in
just
this.
turn my card over,
crisis.
my 2 cards over as discarded would be the way I'd probably do it.
And we all can do that, right?
Yeah, anyone else
Can
who
you
wants to
put it?
discard
The mic is in the way.
and then draw your hand back up.
Yeah, I'm going to take that before that card goes away. That rally card. I'm going to play this one.
Well, so now
Oh, I
can you
can't.
play
Oh,
that
I
from the
can't.
hand?
I can't play it. No, I didn't do that. All right, bummer.
Order of operations.
Yeah. So,
But do you have something on the table that... Does anyone else have something on the table they want to play?
So I can discard stuff, right?
Yeah, you can discard stuff from your hand and redraw. That's the action I just played. Juro.
So Juro, go ahead and roll melee combat since you're attempting to hit with the drive stun.
I will rush forward and make him pay for costing me my ramen soup. 10.
10. You get to roll again and add it on, right?
So roll again and add to it.
Nice.
18.
Ooh,
So 28.
So total 28. If you look down at your bonus chart,
Plus your skill.
that's going to be 9 bonus.
Oh, gotcha, I see.
18.
26 to 30 is 9. Oh, that's pretty awesome.
28. 9, right. So I add 9 to...
Unarmed combat.
Unarmed combat.
I thought it was melee weapon.
Excuse me, a melee weapon, that's
Okay.
right.
So 9 plus 2 plus dex. Is that how that works?
Correct.
Because it says skill adds plus 2.
Correct.
So 9, 10, 11, 19.
19, which is an outstanding hit.
Yes.
Outstanding, Juro.
Yes.
So, with an outstanding hit, you're going to roll 2 bonus dice.
Ooh.
And so bonus dice are d6s. Now the cool thing again with Torg, because this is meant to be heroic, if you roll a 6, you keep that result and you get to roll another additional die. So again, you could keep rolling 6s over and over and over.
So these, what are these added on to?
So on the bottom of your sheet, there should be taser, and it should have...
Damage?
Yes.
So I have 5, 2d6 was a 5. My damage is 12, and then my notes say it stymies, it deals +1 shock, and it's non-lethal.
Okay. So what was your total?
The total was 5, 12, 17.
So
And
7.
Is the shock a damage, +1 shock, or is that a different thing, the damage? Like
So-
shock and wounds are different.
Shock and wounds are different. So shock is in combat the things that causes you to get stunned,
Cool.
small cuts, impact damage from a punch, where you get dizzied a little bit, where you're seeing stars, hearing the ringing in your ears. Whereas the wound is you took a laceration to your stomach.
Cool. So it's 17 damage and stymies.
Okay, that was. So what you guys see is after whatever this is eating this old guy, looks up and hisses and then moves to lunge. Juro jumps forward and just rams the taser, or just running. You can see him take the cartridge out of the taser and just shove it right up underneath the neck, right into underneath the jaw, and to press the trigger. And as the creature attempts to pull away from it, just instinctively, Juro just continues driving it forward into the old man who's sitting there bleeding and gurgling, and up against the vending machine, and just continually drives and holds that down as you hear
Not the
from
old
the
man,
taser.
the man, the thing that was attacking.
The old man's laying.
The old man.
The old man's laying and gurgling. I never did like you.
Because it was Ito that made you miss your suit.
Yeah.
It wasn't the creature.
Yeah. Could have been going through this whole crisis with a full belly, but no.
So now you also know, Juro, that this is not going to kill it. So
That's what I'm afraid of.
who's next?
So does the creature look like it's incapacitated for the moment?
You may or may not have been tased before. Your gang members may or may not have been tased before. So you know that drive stunning doesn't incapacitate.
So this is gonna piss them off.
It just pisses them off. When the probes actually are able to fan out and get a good spread on the person, that's what locks someone up.
So all right. So then I could, if I was going to go now, I could play my little action card if I wanted to.
Yes, you may, from the action pool, not from your hand, but from your action pool.
So the one I played allows me to draw another Cosm card. It says I'm attuned. Play to draw a Cosm card.
Okay.
Okay, so this goes here, and then I draw one of these. Okay.
They're not always good.
They're not always good.
And you said we can play from anybody's.
Yeah, so the
ordinance.
action pool, any player can play a card from the action pool.
But not from our hands.
But you cannot play from your hands. That's
So
correct.
Okay.
when we put them down, could we maybe read them so we all know what each one is?
Yeah.
So that we're aware of
Okay, yeah,
what's
cool.
the what.
Or we can hand them to each person so if
Yeah.
you're looking. Josh is the only one who's got a card down right now.
Although for our listening audience, I think taking the time to read it so our audience can hear it, so that might be a good plan for that.
So my card is called Delphi Support, and it allows you to get a bonus to requisition equipment, but that's obviously not relevant right now. But it also allows you to play in the field to I guess, stumble upon a Delphi Council cargo box in the area. So I thought maybe we might find something we could use in there. It says make a persuasion test. The GM chooses an appropriate item of that value level or less to place in the box.
Okay.
The one that I put down was adrenaline. Add +3 to your dexterity, strength, or related skill total. Adrenaline may be played after determining the success level of the test.
Yeah, so I had one of those cards too, and that's really good because it can be played after the test. So like if you're close but not close enough, then you can play that. I was going to play mine next turn.
Okay, so Ko, were you going? Is that what you're?
So I guess I play that card. Is that my action, or I still have something that I can do?
Oh no, that's like a free action.
Oh, okay. So I've been trying to kind of get up and kind of pull up this woman, who's kind of not sure if she's quite in it or out of it, but she was close by. So I'm like, hey, we've got to go. We've got to get out of here. That thing looks a little distracted. Is there anything nearby, maybe a rock or something that I could pick up and throw? I want to throw it at the vending machine to shatter the glass and maybe shatter some of the glass into the creature to distract it, or maybe I'll get some glass in his eyes or something like that. I don't know.
So there's like not necessarily a rock, but there's definitely metal chairs from the courtyard.
Sure, I'd have to get kind of close. Well, let's see. Okay, so this thing's being stunned, and I know it's gonna be pissed off because that guy over there is not using the taser in the right fashion. So
you don't even have a taser. You don't know how a taser.
I've been tased. Okay, been tased, and I know that unless you have the little doohickeys come out, right? You're not stopping nobody. So I'm going to continue to try and rally this girl. I'm like, come on, we got to go. Okay. I'm trying to pull her towards where my boys are. We need to sync up with my boys.
Okay, Ayaka.
So as he's kind of dragging me, and I see the thing is somewhat incapacitated, but not completely yet, I pull a school book out of my backpack and try throwing it at the monster thing to distract it.
So as you're looking to distract it or looking to cause damage, what's your intent?
Cause damage.
Okay.
Dude, that's awesome.
So as this is going on, like you look around and just frantically look, resisting the urging of this guy pulling on your arm. Finally, you just decide, reach down into your backpack, pull out the trigonometry book, and just fling it. So
probably a big book.
So
it's a big ass
heavy. Yeah, it's a heavy book.
Japanese trigonometry is heavy.
300, 400-page book. You're like, yeah, okay.
So, because you are choosing to confront whatever it is right here and help somebody else who's engaged in battle, at that point again you can feel the
look at it. Just matching with
And so what's interesting and for the benefit of our readers, so core Earth, the axioms that determine the Earth. So there's 4 axioms in Torg. And so those axioms kind of tell us what areas in the game that particular cosm has a relevancy over. So there's magic, social, spirit, and tech. So in Living Lands, tech is really, really low. I think it's something just like a 6. So basically stone weapons work. In Isle, magic is really high. And so we're used to actually have magic users and sorcerers, so magic is extremely high. Spirit in the Living Lands is extremely high because the goddess Lanala kind of oversees that, and so spirit is where you can actually pray to the goddess to be able to cast magic, like cleric spells, basically miracles. And then there's tech. And so tech is what allows you to be able to do like the cool stuff like cyberware and the cyber papacy. So Pan-Pacifica has a tech of 24, social of 24, but core Earth has a social of 23 and a tech of 23. And so when you went through your moment of crisis, you didn't transform into something that's really noticeable because the tech and the social axioms are so close. But you definitely do feel your new reality, and you feel the ability of possibility energy, and you can almost sense it. You can sense also too, Juro has now, like, you can sense the reality in Juro. So the way that we're working with our Storm Knights is kind of like in Highlander when other immortals.
That was the first thing I went to.
When other immortals can feel other immortals, it's the same type of thing.
Yeah. All right, that's cool.
So I feel more connected to Juro now.
You can't explain it, but yes, you definitely have some type of connection to Juro now.
Okay.
So you are rolling to cause damage. That is going to be missile weapon. So old Dex.
7.
So if you look at your roll, 7 is a -2.
Remember now, you played a card that said all melee attacks.
Unarmed.
Oh, unarmed
combat.
attacks. Okay, gotcha.
And there is still a possibility of there being a box around here if somebody wants to try to weave that.
Do a search for the loot.
Yeah.
So,
Borderlands crate.
So now, as a new player to Torg, what you can do is you can actually spend one of your possibility tokens to roll again.
okay.
And so when you roll, it is always a minimum of 10. So even if you just roll like a 3, it goes default to 10.
Do you get to roll again and add it on?
No, because that's the default.
Okay.
If you roll a natural 10 or a natural 20, then you get to continue to add to the roll.
Okay.
Ooh, you got a picture.
So, yeah.
Storm Knights have pictures. Oh, you don't have a picture. You have a saying. Okay.
Well, what's funny is the thing is the thing I was doing whenever I became a Storm Knight. So it was like,
Interesting.
I mean, I was like, man, that doesn't really fit so much better, but
-2, the value is 6, so it would be a 4 with just straight without re-rolling.
Without re-rolling, without spending a possibility. But like I said, since you now have went through your moment of crisis by confronting and helping, choosing to do good, you have demonstrated that you're a Storm Knight. You're willing to confront the storm. So you can and now have possibility to spend.
Well, let's try that then.
All right. So you spend one possibility token and you get to roll.
And is this added
10.
to the previous roll or in place of?
It's added to.
Okay.
Those are cool
So I rolled a 10,
So you rolled a natural 10, you get to roll another 20.
You get to roll again
and that
add it on,
was
yeah.
I had
And
a
add
7
on?
to begin with, so that's 17 now.
Alright, and then roll another 20 and add it on. Nice.
Another 7.
24.
So 24, you look down at your chart, 21 to 25 adds 8. So you add 8 bonus points to your roll.
14.
14 against the toughness, which is that.
and you have your card.
Oh.
So we can get it up to a 17 if that will help.
Right. Yes. Yeah, I can add +3.
Because it can be played after determining the success level.
Yeah.
So if you tell us this is a failure, then we can play adrenaline and push it over the edge. As
So-
I understand.
It's not a failure, but it's only a standard hit.
Adrenaline
Okay.
trigonometry.
And 3 plus 3 wouldn't change that into an out. We would need like 4.
You could actually, it will get it to a good hit.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Then I will use the adrenaline and get it up to a 17.
Okay. So, as Ko was trying to pull, the girl up, she kind of just pulls out of your grasp, looks around frantically, looks down to her backpack, pulls out this thick-ass book, and just with a wordless snarl,
hucks it like a
just
ninja star.
hucks it,
Wow.
and it actually flies right over where you're tasing this thing right up, up against it, and smashes the corner right to the temple of its head.
That's awesome.
And you can actually see like the depressed skull fracture in the temporal lobe, and black blood starts oozing out of the wound. Your book falls to the ground. The thing kind of grunts and hisses in pain as it's still being tased, but it definitely looked like it hurt it. Who's next?
Me. So as a science fiction and fantasy author, I'm pretty sure this is a zombie, and I know that you have to take its head out. So I kind of like climb up. I'm getting a little bit of double vision,
You're right there. I've been helping you up.
and I'm trying to get there, and I'm gonna curb stomp this bitch.
You're definitely able to act, but remember, because you're stymied, you're at -2
-2 to my
to your total roll.
total.
To the total roll, so after you roll the dice.
And what is the benefit of favored?
Yeah, I unarmed combat is favored.
Ooh, good question. And I wish I would have checked that, but let's look real fast.
So, a favored skill. Some perks, spells, or abilities say a skill is favored. Immediately after rolling the first die of a test and assuming it's not a mishap, you may discard that result and roll again, but you must accept the new result. So you can roll the die again, and you got to accept the second roll,
Even if it's lower.
even if it's lower.
But before you roll, tell us about this.
So I not combined attack, but an all-out attack. So you as the player can do an all-out attack, and basically it's a desperate, furious melee or unarmed attack. You increase your attack total by +4, but it leaves you exposed. So you actually get to use your defense, but you do get to include the +4 to the attack. So yes, it is something that can also go against the stymie that you have.
So I'm gonna -2 but +4, so it's a +2.
Now again, if it's unarmed, but it leaves you open to something.
Gotcha.
else.
I'm
stack with
going,
your stymie.
I'm going for it.
Nice. All right. So you're rolling the favored thing. All right.
So
Yeah.
before you roll,
Yes.
you make that determination to enter combat and help people who you don't know.
Starting to see a pattern form here.
And you are Kiku, right?
Kiku.
So, as you make that determination, you could feel energy. What's different though is you don't, for Ayaka and Juro, you feel a little bit more at home where you are now, whereas Kiku, you feel conflict. And so like something's just not right. Kind of like you're in
The wrong genre.
You're not in your cosm.
Yes.
In the wrong genre, I like that.
You're not in your cosm.
So basically, to the audience at home, Kiku's home cosm is core Earth, and your possibility.
Why all of a sudden I like Chuck Norris films? Weird.
So, you let out your battle cry, and you run over and do your.
All out of 10.
So net rolls a 10.
For damage.
Now, like I said, with Ayaka, you can feel that that possibility energy and could choose to expend a
Can you chip a
possibility
favored
token.
roll? Can you chip a favored roll?
Oh, you can, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
All right.
now you're back to the 9. This will add to the 9.
Add to the 9. Got it.
You can reroll. I like that.
20!
Roll again and add it on.
You're
Yeah.
29.
It also says that mishaps can't apply to rerolls. So if you do
Right,
something
you gotta
that you
miss that.
reroll, is that
So
27,
30,
so
so
you're
38.
47?
it's like
30,
it's kind
no,
of like
47,
low
I'm
risk.
right. Reroll. I don't know why I'm listening to Dave.
47?
47.
So 47 is plus 13.
Plus 13.
No, I don't think she's in 40 zone. No, how? Because remember,
18 and 29.
Oh yeah.
So plus 13, so add 13. Now, you're stymied, minus 2. So now you're at 11. Follow me so far? You're stymied, so you
Okay.
subtract 2.
11.
Now, you get plus 4 from the thing from
Favor.
earlier.
Because you're favored on
15.
unarmed
There you go.
combat.
So 50
Add
plus
that
dex.
to
Yeah.
your unarmed combat.
So the value?
Yes.
So 25.
Put all her weight behind it.
So, so that's gonna do it. Kiku, tell us what we see.
I'm not even thinking about what I'm doing. I'm just, from all my experience, I hate zombies. They're like my least favorite, sci-fi fantasy character because they're terrifying, disgusting, and smell bad. And this is going to be a great story when I write my next book. And I just run up there, lift my leg as high as I can, and drop all my body weight into its head. And I can feel its brain squishing under my shoe, and it splatters everywhere and gets all over everybody nearby. And I get brains on my face. Wipe it off.
So Juro, as you like being in close proximity from tasing it too, said you just heard what we saw and what you see, and you can feel just the spatter of brain and gore and little chunks of skull fly up on your hand, cover your arm. I think a little piece of skull got into your mouth.
Spitting. Oh. Then I'll kind of look over and wipe some gore out of my eyes and try to see what happened. Thanks a lot. That's what that thing's
Juro,
gonna
are you
make me
okay?
its next meal.
Juro, are you okay?
I think so. Check for wounds. Do I have any bites?
No,
Any
seem-
scratches?
You seem to be fine. So at
Nice
this,
work, young lady.
So at this moment, it's kind of like that little quiet lull right after combat, but then almost immediately you can hear screams, continuing in the background. And when you look out to the alley, this little cove, the little court where the vending machine was at, and the
I
tables,
thought that's where we were.
that's where you are.
Okay.
And so it's kind of protected from the street, but when you look outside, you can just see a flurry of activity out there. And so this, if you look closely, this is Philadelphia in World War Z, where people are just running in chaos and zombies are attacking and tackling other people, slamming their faces into car windows. That's what's going on out in the street.
Yeah, everyone wants to be a hero.
No,
There's a
scare.
chance.
So, what do you guys do? As everyone's just kind of stunned.
I'm
Silence.
stunned. I'm not quite sure what just happened.
I said, come on, I have a place nearby. Come on, follow me. I think I have a place nearby.
So the only way out is into the street where all of that mad chaos.
And is that the
happening.
direction where this temple is, where my boys are as well?
Oh yeah, no, this alley that you're in leads into this courtyard where there's other shops and whatnot, but there's no place out of
It's a
it.
dead end.
So I'll move
It's
to
a
the end.
dead
I'm going to
end.
move to the end where I can see and kind of peek around the corner and then wait for an opportunity to get across the chaos without putting ourselves in a vulnerable or myself
Juro,
in a
reload.
vulnerable
Are we
position.
seeing any more zombies? Yeah. Do you wanna?
So I don't necessarily know if you see more zombies, but definitely what you see is just mad chaos and combat and pandemonium that's going on out in the street.
Yeah, and as Barry said, I will snap two with when Sun reminds me and reload my two.
Juro, does your home office have an armory?
No, we don't have anything like that. I mean, we're watching shops and stalls out here in the market. We're not.
I'd say we follow him.
My house is pretty close by, and as a sci-fi and fantasy aficionado, I've got some samurai swords hung up on my wall.
I've changed my mind. Let's follow her.
Okay, so while you guys are kind of discussing, you start kind of stealthing out or trying to sneak out to get a peek out to the
Yeah,
side.
see what's going on here.
I want you to roll a stealth for me. It's a
yeah.
dex check.
All right, here we go. And I have stealth. So skill adds. I add +1 to this thing, I guess.
Okay, so go ahead and roll.
Stealth. Nat 20.
Nice.
Nice.
What about
Followed
the
by 12, so
cards that were
32,
unplayed from that combat?
34.
Oh, okay. So good. Thank you. So now, because that's the end of that dramatic scene, everyone gets to refill their cards, hands back up to 4.
And cards that you played into the pool come back to your hand.
They do come back to your hand.
Am I still stymied?
No, you're
that you
not.
played from the cards that you played. You get them back.
No, if you didn't.
Oh, if you didn't.
Yeah,
Oh,
if
if
you
they
And
weren't played
do the
together.
Cosm cards count as our hand, part of our hand size?
No, those are not your destiny cards.
Nice. Okay.
And when is an act? My Cosm card went till the end of the act.
We're still in the first act.
I got a card that says Martyr. Play this card to achieve a significant goal. Your character perishes in the process. Alternative discard for a possibility of drawing a card. That's awesome.
So, Martyr is
That's awesome.
Tony Stark ripping the Infinity Gauntlet off of Thanos at
Love
the
it.
end of the movie and
Your
snapping.
character perishes
So
in the
that
process, but it's cool.
that would have been the Martyr card.
All right. So for my stealth, I got a 22.
So 22 is, so that's going to be a bonus of 8.
No, my result is 22.
Oh, your result?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
outstanding. So yeah, you're right up on the corners and be able to, as you kind of peer out, and you don't do like the movie, where you peek around the corner. You actually pie the corner
Okay.
to where you're able to look out into the street and still remain hidden.
All right.
And what you see is just, the Harajuku Square is packed. 24 hours, it's like Times Square. It never sleeps. Something's always going. There's people always there.
It's like Times Square.
It's exactly like Times
on
Square.
New Year's. Okay.
And it is World War Z
Okay, I
in
get that.
Philadelphia.
Cool.
So
What's in the opposite direction?
in the opposite direction,
Yeah.
all that is just a dead end of some shops, and you can, just because of your role, you know that if you go out there, it's gonna be.
We don't want to go that way.
So as you start making your way back, you hear the rest of the group and other people kind of arguing.
I heard
about
I got
where to go.
samurai swords at my place. Sounds good to me.
All right, so what do you guys do?
What do I have at my hideout? My gang. Do I have like bike chains and baseball bats or what?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, say I've got a secure place, but I think maybe we stop at your place and get weapons. That's a good idea.
Do you tell them what you saw?
Oh, I say, we don't want to go that way. That's all bad. More of those things. It's high tide of whatever that is out there. It's going. It's happening, and it's going down right now. We need to go the opposite way. That right there.
Really close, you guys hear, and so as everyone kind of looks around, you see movement in front of the vending machine, and the old man that was there at first starts to push himself up.
All right, I'm pulling out. Oh, so we're going back to the. Okay, cool.
So now we're in initiative.
I'm gonna have to go to guns here. I want to conserve that vulgar display of power.
So what our card says is heroes first, villains are fatigued again, and maneuver and trick are preferred actions.
And then we need to play one of our destiny
So
cards.
everyone play from Destiny card into the action.
She could also play a Cosm card instead, right?
The Cosm card,
As well.
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna play alertness. This says you notice an otherwise unseen item, like Borderlands item box. Clue or event. Alertness may be played out of your hand at the start of an ambush to prevent the heroes from being surprised.
So you hear the old man do his growl and start to push up, and you start looking around, and at the far end of the courtyard, so kind of like if you picture it like in a horseshoe, at the very deepest part of the horseshoe, you can see one of the like aluminum windows that were rolled down, protect windows from being busted out, being rolled up, and you see this old man just like with thick Coke bottle glasses looking at you, waving furiously.
Is that for playing his alertness card?
That's probably the alertness
Oh,
card.
no, I was just reading it so that the group knew what card I played, so y'all knew it was out there.
I thought you played it.
No, I'm just reading it so that...
Putting it.
Okay, I'm playing it. I'm playing it.
We all go?
The old man,
We're all going.
Everyone that way!
Run, run, run. Let's go.
Okay.
And as I run, though, I do want to do something when it gets to me. Yeah,
So again, it's
You're first?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can be first.
I have a switchblade. I'm gonna throw my switchblade at that thing. Oof. As I run past and try and get it to maybe wound it so it can't follow us in where the old man is.
Okay, so
It's my time.
that's fine. As you get ready to rear back, what goes through your head is you're throwing away your weapon if you're running.
It's not very aerodynamic.
Yeah,
Right, but
I don't know how many switchblades you've thrown, but...
oh yeah, right, yeah. Okay, then this is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give these guys cover to get safely to the window while I go and attack this thing with my knife.
Okay.
There we go. That's heroic.
So
Get to the chopper.
So, Ko, your natural instinct being, especially
cut
being
you
a
up.
gang.
Right.
Well, from your background and being gang oriented, your affiliation was to your gang. That's where your loyalty was. And so you go to take off running to the old man, just going to get ready to throw your knife at the thing just for your own safety, so it doesn't attack you from behind. And at that moment, you kind of stop and you realize that this is something bigger than you.
Was the other one bigger? Was the old man?
No. This whole thing, the whole situation, is something bigger than you.
Oh no, shit! You see the guy jump out from the venom machine, start eating the other guy? Yeah, I'd say that's bigger than me.
Can I try to kind of grab the back of his collar and be like, "Come on, man, we don't got no time for this. These things are obviously."
You stunned it with a taser. What are you talking
Have you ever
about?
heard of a zombie? I mean, there's going to be way more of these things. We're going to get overwhelmed. We just need to get out of here while we can.
So people are running past you toward the old man, but you determine that you're going to go and actually fight and hold off hold off the danger for
So
the
that they
others
can
to
get through,
escape.
yeah.
And you end up going
Go,
through.
the transformation has begun. Just stay out of my way and you won't get hurt.
So he yells. Out, just stay out of the way.
You're the berserker.
And so you grab onto his collar, Juro, but he ends up pulling out and running towards the old man as he's getting up. And so go ahead and attack. Melee weapon.
So I'm rolling melee weapon. Okay. And now I have something. I have a perk. Reroll ones on damage. Okay, with this thing. Okay, here we go. 11. All right. So then my melee weapons would be 14 plus 3 skill add. So 17 would be my total.
17 hits.
All right, that hits.
Roll damage. It's just going to be 1d6.
1d6, and I can reroll the ones. All right, so I got a 3. Do I add my strength? Oh, it's plus strength plus 1. So how does that work?
And
It said damage is strength plus
you don't
1.
add the skill adds and the value. The value is the skill plus the stat already.
Is the damage.
value is the finished.
Plus the die roll?
Plus the die roll.
Oh, gotcha. So my strength is 9 plus 1, so 10 plus 3 is 13.
Okay.
Did I do that right? 10 plus my die roll, is that what the damage is?
Correct.
Okay, so 13.
Yeah, so 13. Now,
Okay.
everyone's going to have basically their toughness and armor value. And so that's what your damage cumulative is going to try to beat. So that's why you can actually get things like 13, 14, or even higher and against the person's toughness. So he's not wearing armor. It's just the straight body toughness.
Okay.
And basically it causes 2 shock.
Okay.
So as a thing's, kind of pushing up, you go and you just go for a straight stab, but it's pushing up right at the same time, and you end up kind of grazing its temple, but getting a cut in.
Okay, cool.
All right, what are you guys doing?
Running towards the old man.
Running.
Okay.
I'm going to run by him and say, good luck.
Yeah, I'm kind of ushering everybody in through. I'm just like, I don't know this guy's name. I'm just like, hey, if you want to throw your life away, that's on you. But we're
Juro,
heading
just
out.
go. Just go.
I mean, this is a door? Like the guy opened a door?
Yeah, so he's got the window open, which is right next to the front shop. It's a shop door, and so he's rolled up the
Like the little grate where you lower it down at the end of the night so
at the end
people
of
don't
the
break
shift,
in,
yeah.
basically.
And so he's rolled that up kind of halfway, and he's waving for you guys towards his shop.
So I'll go ahead and come on in, but, secure this door behind us.
So the door's open, so you guys start, filing in. The old man says, "What about your friend?"
He's good.
Okay. So,
I point the avenue, of escape. You guys leave me out the grenade. Stick a grenade.
You've got martyr in your hand.
I say give him a moment. Let's see if we can get there.
okay. I'll hold it.
Martyrs himself in the opening scene. Of
Is there anything right inside the door that I could grab and use as an improvised weapon?
Next turn, you can look for something, because this one you're running, just kind of got into the door. Did that moment of catching your breath, looking around, and so not yet.
Okay.
Hey, fancy clothes, get in here.
That's you.
Is it my turn? Is it
Not
our
yet.
turn to go again? I already
So
went.
he
I
gets.
think I'm out of actions.
So
yeah.
my
I
villain
think we're
gets
all
to
out of
attack.
actions.
Yeah.
And he has a -2 to that roll. And so after he gets cut and looks up at you, still staying on his hands and knees, but swipes at your legs, you easily just step back.
Okay, cool.
And
Now, what? So easy rolling against my dodge skill. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, my dodge is 13. I'm melee defense 14.
It'd be unarmed combat.
Oh, I have unarmed defense 13.
Okay. So
All kinds of defenses.
I rolled so bad.
Oh, okay, all right.
I knew I was going to miss.
All right.
Okay, so next round of initiative.
Yeah.
Defend is the preferred action.
Okay, so this card went away because I played this, right? Okay.
Yes.
All right. And so new round, we play another card out of our hand.
You
right?
can put a new destiny card into the action pool. Everybody.
I'm gonna play.
Does it,
yeah.
if you didn't use the previous one, does it add to the pile?
It's still yes.
Yep, you're just
Oh, okay.
stacking.
So we're putting. I see.
Are we describing the cards that we lay down each turn around for the
I
rest
think that
of the
would
players?
help, but
That's what I did last time, yeah.
But it slows down
slows
down
combat,
okay,
right?
So Delphi support.
I've got an alertness down, which is, we know what that is. I also played second wind, which is recover 5.
I have an opponent fails, which is a really awesome card that just makes the opponent fail after they succeed at something. So.
And then I have an
really
action that adds
nice.
+3 to an action.
So, villain's turn.
Oh, villains go first this time.
Yeah, villains go first this time, and so.
What does the defend thing say at the bottom? It says defend.
So for defense, you can put all of your actions into defending instead of not
Attacking. Okay.
attacking. Correct.
What other ways can we use these possibility chips? Can we use these as defense? Or make their rolls harder, maybe? Or
No, you can't use it to make somebody else's roll difficult. You spend them to be able to make a roll, even for one of the other players. You can
Okay.
spend possibility for one of your teammates.
Gotcha.
To be able to roll again.
All right.
So the old man swings at you.
Catch you up, old man.
And so he swings at you, but stumbles forward and lands and kind of face plants and hits his chin as it lands down again. But while he is doing that, what you do here is you hear continued yelling, and you can see now other of the zombie creatures from the street coming into the alley.
Come on,
I yell out the door, run!
Yeah, once I have an opportunity, he's down, I'm gonna run, and try and slide into home station there underneath the grating.
Yeah, I'm holding my action. As soon as he jumps through that door, I'm slamming this screen down.
So go ahead, and if you're running all out like that, let's just make a straight dex check. It's going to be a difficulty number of 8. You're just dodging the chairs and whatnot.
17 is a 4, and my dexterity is 11, so it's 15.
Yeah, so no problem. The old man is kind of there, just looking through the window. Everyone else is inside. You see the thing swing at Ko, fall to the ground, crack his jaw on the cement, and he takes off running. Comes to the door, and you
Slam it down.
and
Roll it down, put it in place, whatever we need to do.
Yep, and start locking it up, and then the old man starts helping shut everything down and put up the bars. And so he turns around, he's like, shh, as he starts locking everything up. And at this point, what we'll go ahead and do is we'll break for this episode, and we'll find out what our players do next one.
Thank you for joining us on another NCRP Productions podcast. We couldn't do this without you, so please like and subscribe everywhere we're found, including YouTube, Facebook, Anchor, Google, Apple, Spotify, and other great podcast sites. If you'd like to help us continue making more content, we'd love to have your support on our Patreon. And if you have any feedback for us, please feel free to comment on our podcasts or email us directly at ncrpproductions@gmail.com. That's ncrpproductions@gmail.com. And we'd like to give a special shout out to our current patrons, MD Parker 4,
Chef Francis,
Crowman 76, Loading Mad Cat, M. Coling, November Stevenson, and Rosix 13. Thank you all. We truly, truly appreciate it.